What I've since learned and how it's made me as a leader now an absolute massive improvement in so many areas for me. Levent Shevki, CEO of Cornwalls. I lead the organisation. I set the strategy and execute on that strategy. I'm also involved on the board of the AFL team Western Bulldogs for 10 years now. I've also been involved in soccer teams and other sporting and entertainment agencies as well. Look, I think at the time I was fine. I wasn't really searching for anything, being leader for a few years, probably 4 or 5 years as CEO of Cornwalls. It was really a colleague that talked to me about Paulo at a function, and I was intrigued by what he was telling me. He was talking about somebody who had this great intuition, and he talked about consciousness and leading in silence, and they were all very new terms for me, and I was just intrigued with what that was all about now, and a connection was made. And so at that point it was really me being intrigued more than actually looking for something. And so it happened to be that I had an initial conversation with Paulo, and again he intrigued me some more, but it was a first up conversation, and we had a number of follow-ups after that. I think really busy and hectic always seem to be stressful to some degree. There's always issues around whether it's talent, culture, cash flow, leading businesses. But I think also for me, because I do so many things, not just in the law firm, but trying to run a multidisciplinary practice, involved in the directorships and those sort of things, life just always seems really, really busy and stressful. And the challenges were, I'm sure, what every leader faces. You're trying to get growth, trying to keep your people happy, trying to keep talent here, and those sorts of things. Trying to have a balanced life as well. The experience has been unlike any other that I've had. A lot of very foreign concepts at the beginning, which I probably didn't understand that well. When I was asked to lead in silence, I didn't know what that meant. I couldn't even probably properly define consciousness at that point in time. So very different approach, and being a person that I guess is open to things, I was happy to sort of just keep pursuing it, and I was intrigued and I wanted to understand more. What I've since learned and how it's made me as a leader now an absolute massive improvement in so many areas for me. It's really interesting. What I've managed to understand is that by leading in silence and trying to get to this higher consciousness, what we're trying to do as individuals is actually become aware of what the reality is objectively, as opposed to what I think it is, what I want it to be, or what somebody tells me it is. It's almost like, in a lot of ways, by being able to connect to the universe, I'm actually able to see, or the truth reveals itself. And so it's been a really difficult concept for me to grasp that can be the case. But what I've found is, with the techniques that you've been teaching me around, certainly around the meditation's been a really big help, and having that clear mind. In a basic way of describing it, a life is about experiences, and I really like this formula. To have the right experiences, we need to make the right decisions. To make the right decisions, we need to have the right thoughts. Having the right thoughts means being able to actually have a clear mind and a settled mind, and to see the reality of what something is objectively, as opposed to, as I said before, what it might be, what you think it is, or what somebody's telling you it is. Once you have that clarity of mind, you're able to actually see things for what they are, then you're actually able to actually deal with them. And a lot of the big changes for me is learning things like a problem is fluid. We spoke about that only recently, where I had an issue which I thought was a really difficult one, but looking at it and understanding that different challenges are actually opportunities, and to actually live without fear. These things I never thought about. For me, the massive change is being able to understand that a problem is fluid. I can deal with it. A challenge does create an opportunity, and also learning that we don't make the best decisions when we fear something. Creating that environment for me where I'm meditating, having a settled mind and a clear mind, allowed me to see things for what they actually are, and then being able to make decisions has been amazing evolution for me in terms of understanding what consciousness is and understanding what's really happening and the fact that we are actually able to deal with those things. It's been life-changing in a major way for me. I'm a lot more relaxed. I'm probably doing less. It may not make sense, but I'm doing less and I'm able to make decisions from a position of awareness, and it's coming through. I can explain things that there's, for example, been problems that I've had within the firm that I couldn't work out why, or I couldn't fix them. And all of a sudden they're just becoming a lot. It's going to sound strange, but it is, they're becoming clearer to me. I'm able to actually just see them and deal with them. And that's been something that I've experienced. I don't know how I can ever explain that to somebody else as a thing, but I know what I've experienced in the process. And I guess that's why I'm happy to talk about it, because I'm talking about it from something that I personally have observed and experienced. My capacity for leadership, I sit in a lot of leadership roles. I've only spoken about a few of the things that I do, but I'm involved in many companies, as people who know me know. So I'm able to spread myself because I'm able to not do as much and deal with things in a different way. Plus people around me, the ability to actually work with people and have that intuition about what they're able to do and really see that and then trust them with those things, I was going to get a lot more done. My capacity for leadership has, I believe, increased since I've been undertaking this type of work. I think it had more to do with me being intrigued at the beginning. Again, it wasn't something that I was looking for. It wasn't something that I thought I needed. I've gone through different programs before, and I think you put it in a particular way around a lot of the coaching that occurs involves the intellect, which is good. We learn things about leadership and talent and culture. And one of the first things that I did that I think shaped my leadership style when I was first appointed as the CEO of Cornwall's was I read a book called Talent Wins, and it had a number of case studies in there about every successful organization having a winning culture. Your talent is everything. They create the value. What do you need to do? You need to power them, give them a purpose, reward them appropriately, all those things. A lot of that set the foundation for the strategy that we built here at Cornwall's. That's great learning, but what this program does is that it actually evolves the consciousness, and it's the words that you've used in the past. But if you had have spoken to me about that early on in the program, I wouldn't know what you're talking about. But now it's clear to me about what that means, and it's what things I just spoke about when it comes to leading without fear, understanding problems as being fluid, seeing challenges as opportunities, and then having that awareness and knowing that if we're making decisions from a settled mind, then we're seeing things a lot clearer. Having experienced all that is the reason why I continue to work with you guys, even though at the start I had no real idea of what I was getting myself. I just think I've been able to see, apart from the things I've just mentioned, I've seen practical change. I've seen real results for myself. I'm feeling a lot calmer and less stressed as well. Definitely. And there's a certain intuition that you guys have that really helps. If I'm having, and this is the thing, if I'm having a period or a day that something isn't going quite right, for some peculiar reason, Paula decides to give me a call. It's a strange thing to talk about, but it's a really valuable thing for me, and just seeing the practical positive change in my leadership and the results has been really good for me. Of course there was. I think it took you guys quite a few months to convince me to do the program, and I didn't understand some of the things that were being said. I was skeptical about it, and I was busy, and I thought I was just too busy for it. There were not concerns about you guys, but concerns about whether I really wanted to do the program, whether it would make any difference to me. But being a person who, as I said, is usually open to trying new things, and I have done throughout my career. Some would say I'm a risk taker, but I'd say I'd be a careful risk taker. I'm not conservative, people know that, but I'm not crazy either. But it was, let's give this a go then. I thought about it, and learning about spirituality has probably been one of the best things I've done in my leadership journey. I would, and I can only base that on the fact that I've had progress, experience and positive results. That's why I would do it. It's been a great program for me, both from a work perspective and personally, picking up some good habits. I meditate every day now. I'd not meditated once in my life prior to starting the program, and now I do it every day. I see the benefits of it. It goes hand in hand with things that you guys are teaching me. So it's been a great experience so far.